One of the great tragedies of the modern world is the worship of celebrities for nothing more than being famous. Celebrities are no longer celebrated for being talented, artistic, inventive, or intelligent. The fame and recognition of being famous is its own power. Some people will go to any lengths to achieve that power, which is why some of the most despicable, dumb, and toxic people become famous. Infamy is just as, if not more, influential in the modern world than fame itself. This is why the most deranged, unhinged people are given a stronger voice than they should have by news media and social media companies. But what happens when a fame-hungry narcissist has utilised all these toxic avenues to become famous but has not reached their achieved goal? In the cowardly case of Luka Magnotta, he would kill his way to fame, nourishing his large but fragile ego with the notoriety of his murders. Everything about Luka Magnotta is fake, even his name. His real name is Eric Clinton Newman and he was born in 1982. He grew up in Scarborough, Canada, the same place as the Ken and Barbie killers Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka. It is possible that the infamy and coverage the couple gained from their crimes had a strong influence on a young Luka and his search for fame. His mother and father would split up when he was a child and he would be brought up by his grandparents. He did not go to school as he believed the world was a dirty, dangerous place. Instead, he would be homeschooled, which in the end clearly did him no good. He faced further instability when his grandparents also split up. Luka's mother also got herself a new man who was allegedly extremely abusive to him. His strongest family bond was between him and his sister Melissa. She, other than himself, was the only person he ever called beautiful. After his grandparents got divorced, he did go into the educational program. But because he was homeschooled during his primary school years, he did not develop the social skills needed to form friendships in high school. He was an outcast and loner and was bullied for being ugly and feminine. His mother said he would spend almost all of his time escaping into reality by watching films. This is perhaps why he believed he was the main character in everyone's life and created a movie out of his own. When he was 16, he moved to Toronto to try and become an actor. At the age of 22, he was suffering from depression and was put on antidepressant medication for life. In 2004, he formed a predatory relationship with a 21-year-old woman. The problem was that she had the mental capacity of an 8 to 12-year-old child. He was able to manipulate her into allowing him to use her credit cards. Magnotta would spend thousands of dollars using her credit card details. Police have also stated that he sexually assaulted her whilst filming the act. This is a very strange thing for a gay man to do, but he seemingly got off on the power of it. However, when a case was brought against him, the client dropped the sexual assault allegation. Instead, he was charged with fraud only. This allowed him to escape the sexual offender register and the monitoring that would entail. This is why it is so important for victims to speak out and for police to fully investigate any allegations. In 2006, Eric would officially change his name to Luka Rocco Magnotta in his search for fame and the validation that would give him. In Toronto, he became a face in the gay community. There, he dated a transgender woman named Barbie. Barbie claimed that he constantly asked her to take pictures of him that he could post online. Barbie said he was obsessed with his looks and obsessed with looking young. This led him to getting several cosmetic surgeries. Luka would do literally anything he could think of to try and achieve fame. He was the ultimate attention seeker and had no morals whatsoever to hold him back. He created an illusion of fame online. He claimed that he already was famous as a high-end escort, male model and gay porn star. He did actually star in several low-budget adult movies, but failed to gain any fame even in that classless, talentless, voidless world.
Do you enjoy your work?
Yeah, I really do enjoy my work. I get to meet new people and all the time, and I'm a people person, and it just worked out great for me. Travel all over the world. I don't have to be a stripper anymore, thank God. I get to meet really influential people, and a lot of great people around the city and internationally, and do a lot of high-end things I've never been able to do in another profession. The best part about being an escort is I'm my own boss. I get to pick my own hours and make a lot of money.
He then tried to scrape the barrel of the next most lecherous path to fame, reality TV. He auditioned for a TV show called Plastic Makes Perfect.
Alright, my name is Luka Magnotta and I'm 25.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a model.
But although he had all the repugnant tendencies needed to make it in the world of reality TV, he did not have the charisma. With all the bravado and illusionary armour of greatness, the reality was that he was just not an interesting person. His whole outlook was self-absorption, not allowing him to form concepts or opinions about the world around him. He was just an empty shell trying to hide his nothingness with fame and beauty. Even his own voice was fake. He would practice making his voice sound more deep and husky than it actually was.
Hi, my name is Luka. Magnotta is my last name, Magnotta.
John, how come this voice is lower? You're a little lower.
I have a very deep voice. A lot of people tell me that actually.
So how do you get your voice so deep?
How do I get my voice so deep? Practice makes perfect, right?
He also auditioned to become an underwear model on the TV show Cover Guy. But as judged by experts in the modelling industry, his looks were nowhere near as good as he thought or imagined. He did not even make it to the first episode, as he wasn't deemed attractive enough to be a model. Judges also said that his body was not good enough to be a cover model.
I think he looks good. I think he has a chance. I'm going to give him a yes.
Thank you.
I think this competition, you got to be a little bit built up, I think...
I have no problem gaining weight. I can gain weight if I need to gain weight.
I'm actually thinking more muscle definition. I think you do have a very nice lean...
That could happen really quickly. I can gain weight really quickly.
I'm going to say potentially, I think you do have potential, but I'm going to ask you to come back next year at this competition.
Okay.
I just don't think he's beefy enough for Cover Guy. I don't think you have the musculature yet.
To fuel his lifestyle without having to work, he became a toy boy for wealthy older men. A vile term that is now known as a sugar baby. This allowed him to travel the world and create an illusion of a lavish lifestyle online. Failing as an adult actor, model and reality TV celebrity, he would start looking at new ways to become famous. This was during the height of shock websites. Websites in which people could upload real gore images and videos to mass audiences. He had also witnessed, as we all have, the world's obsession with serial killers and true crime. He even began to create the lie that he and Karla Homolka were dating. He would even create a video compilation to try and convince the world they were dating. Of course, he would not post the video under his own name, but via several throwaway accounts he had created. He then contacted the press to deny the rumours, which bought him a little more notoriety and attention. He stated that the claims of his involvement with Karla Homolka were destroying his acting and modelling career.
The rumors destroyed my life, basically, and I've been receiving death threats. My address is posted, that's why I had to move. I want my Pomeranian back. It was taken out of my SUV. I'm about to have a nervous breakdown here. My reputation is completely ruined. I just want everybody to I want to set the record straight that me and her have absolutely no connection. I go in to see casting directors, I go in to see agents, you know, they know who I am, you know, it's all over everywhere.
Then he would do something so despicable that he would get the attention that he always wanted. However, he was not loved but hated across the world, and hate mobs wanted mob justice against him. He would choose one of the purest symbols of innocence to achieve infamy on shock sites across the world. That symbol would be kittens. A post titled "One Boy, Two Kittens" started to appear on message boards like 4chan and rapidly spread across the internet. In the video, a hooded, unidentifiable figure suffocated the kittens in a plastic bag that was vacuum sealed. The video, in fact, made its way onto YouTube before being taken down. Hauntingly, Jun Lennon's Christmas song "Happy Christmas, War Is Over" was playing as the air was snatched from the kitten's lungs. He would also play conversations he had recorded from a TV show of Russian people to throw people off the scent. The disgust felt by the video inspired internet investigators to try and track down the perpetrator. A Facebook group that grew to 4,000 members in one day was set up to find out who the person responsible was. Magnotta, using several fake accounts, also became a member of the group so he could spy on and keep one step ahead of them. He would also take pleasure in the attention he was finally getting and would troll members of the group. Magnotta became known as the Vacuum Kitten Killer, which delighted him. He then continued to release similar videos. For example, he released a video from that same day after the kittens had died. He was playing with their stiff bodies that were in a state of rigor mortis, whilst John Lennon's Imagine played in the background. After a while, it was evident that he wanted to get caught. He even sent an anonymous Facebook message to the group explaining that Luka Magnotta was the killer and that he lived in West Hollywood. He had also previously included a link with a picture of himself holding the kittens but with a blurred face. Amateur investigators found swathes of fake stories, fake websites, fake blogs and fake social media posts about Luka Magnotta. This was how desperate he was for fame. It seemed he spent every waking moment making up fake information about himself. He would even create accounts pretending to be fans, making complimentary comments. He would Photoshop images of himself to appear like he was driving fancy sports cars or travelling the world visiting exotic locations. Some of the most fanciful claims were that he was River Phoenix's long lost cousin, that he was dating Paris Hilton, and that he was also dating Madonna. However, despite this, he wanted to ride out the notoriety for as long as he could. He lived as a fugitive, moving from place to place. The Facebook group was able to track him down to Toronto, Canada, and this information was passed to the police. However, the police were not able to find him. It seemed that although endless information about him was online, there was no paper trail of his existence. For example, he could not be traced by credit or debit cards as he seemingly did not use them. But Magnotta would strike again, posting a video of a python eating a kitten and another of a kitten taped to a stick being drowned in a bath. After the Sun newspaper published stories trying to track down the kitten killer Luka Magnotta, he would brazenly walk into their offices in London. He spoke to reporter Alex West, denying the crimes and allegations against him. He claimed people were trying to frame him.
What are you doing in London now?
Because of the harassment.
What harassment?
I'm getting death threats.
Saying what?
Anything you can imagine. They're going to kill me.
Why?
Because of these stories.
But a lot of people are saying that this chap is responsible for killing the kittens in the YouTube videos. This is you in the picture here.
No, it's not.
It certainly looks like you.
It's not me.
That isn't you.
No. People are really good with Photoshop these days, aren't they? People frame me, isn't that obvious?
Why would somebody do that? Have they got an investment against you?
Many people do.
What for?
I won't get into that.
Okay. We're not really getting very far. We'll have to leave it at that, I think.
Yes, I think we do. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Days later, he sent an email to the Sun newspaper stating, "It's fun watching people work so hard gathering all the evidence, then not being able to name me or catch me. You see, I always win. I always hold the trump card, and I will continue to make more movies. Next time you hear from me, it will be in a movie I'm producing that will have some humans in it, not just pussies." Magnotta also began taunting the internet investigators by posting personal information about them. However, using one of his photographs, they were able to track him down to Montreal and the exact street he took the photograph. This was again passed on to the police in Montreal, but it was not given any priority. Montreal is where Magnotta met 33-year-old Jun Lin, a computer science student who had moved from China to study there. Soon after they met, Jun Lin would be dead. He became a victim and a tool used to boost Magnotta's desire for fame. A new video titled "One Lunatic, One Ice Pick" started to make the rounds on shock sites. This featured the murder of Jun Lin at the hands of Magnotta, who again concealed his identity using a hood. At the same time, an apartment building janitor in Montreal found a padlocked suitcase dumped next to the bins in an alley. He described the suitcase as being riddled with maggots. Out of curiosity, he opened it and inside was the torso of Jun Lin. When the police were called, they searched the bins and found evidence tying Magnotta to the murder, like his driving licence and invoices with his name and address on them. In the apartment of Luka Magnotta, red ink was used to write a message on the wall. It said, "If you don't like the reflection, don't look in the mirror, I don't care." Luka then sent Lin's severed feet to the headquarters of Canada's Conservative Party. In the package he sent, he included a poem that read, "Roses are red, violets are blue. The police will need dental files to identify you, bitch." This is when Luka got the international fame he had always craved. The story was picked up by news stations all over the world. Canadian police were able to find out that he had fled to Paris using airport CCTV footage. French police then found out what hotel he was staying in. However, although he had booked the room, he did not stay in it. This was likely a distraction. He was eventually caught not in France but in Berlin. He had visited an internet cafe and the owner had been reading about the Jun Lin murder. Then walked in the killer, who was there to use one of the computers. The owner was able to check what the customer was searching for, and representing his deep narcissism, he was searching Interpol for information about himself. In particular, he was looking at his own mugshot that the police were using to try and find him. The German police stormed the internet cafe and quickly apprehended him. He was brought back to Canada using a military plane, as no airline wanted to be associated with him. On an interesting side note, Luka Magnotta's mother claimed that he was not acting alone. She claimed he was merely carrying out the wishes of a powerful string puller named Manuel "Manny" Lopez. She alleges that he stalked Luka and forced him to make the videos. Lopez would allegedly make money from the videos by selling them on the dark web. However, the fact these videos immediately appeared on the surface web, including YouTube, makes this highly unlikely. However, in the video of the python and the kittens, there is indeed another person behind the camera. This story was also backed up by a lawyer Magnotta had visited in 2011 by the name of Romeo Salter. Salter said Luka claimed Manny was forcing him to make the cruel videos mentioned, and that if he did not, he would be tortured. Magnotta listed several attacks that Manny made against him, including strangling with hands, strangling with an electric cord, stabbed with a pencil and pen, forced to eat animal parts, forced to eat worms, forced to have sex with a dog and cats. This is a very disturbing thought that someone could have forced him to do this. The lawyer also received a picture of Luka which appeared to show the aftermath of Luka being beaten up. He also allegedly received a phone call from Miami Beach police stating that he had been kidnapped from New York after being spiked. He was then allegedly beaten, raped and left in the streets by a group of men headed by Manny. However, the likely story is that this conversation was part of his twisted, game-playing and warped fantasy. Investigators found no evidence of the existence of Manny Lopez and surmised it was a figment of Magnotta's imagination. In 2014, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life behind bars.